Day one of the trial for Justin Johnson, who unalived young Dolph on November 17th of 2021, was very heavy. A lot of details came out. Basically, there was a feud between two rap groups. Young Dolph's group, which is PRE, Paper Route Empire, and then CMG, C. Kane Music Group. C. Kane Music Group. I can't say the C. Kane word, but you guys know what I mean. Or Collective Music Group is another name that it went by. So there was a feud between the two. Apparently a hit for $100,000 was put out on young Dolph's head. And Justin Johnson and his accomplice, Cornelius Smith, decided they were going to take this job on. They were going to split the $100,000, and then they each were going to give $10,000 to one of their friends or acquaintances, Hernandez Govan. So day one started out with young Dolph's sister, that she saw her brother 2 months prior to his death, that they talked all the time, and she just identified a picture of her brother. There really wasn't a whole lot that they had asked of her. Raul was up next, and he said he was a friend from the neighborhood of young Dolph's and that he knew him for about 7 years. He also provided security detail for him. There wasn't a whole lot that came out from his testimony besides the fact that he knew young Dolph and that he was a part of his security detail at times. Then we have the star witness, the accomplice, Cornelius Smith. He stated that he was told by one of his friends, Mr. Hernandez Govan, that they had this hit out and that he wanted him to help out with it. So basically, him and Justin connected. Justin picked him up from his father's house, and he said he needed the money really bad because he was popping pills and that he really needed the money and that this money would be a benefit to him. And so Justin picked him up. They figured they would just cruise around, find young Dolph because they knew he was in town because he had some type of event occurring sometime during that week. And so they ended up rolling up on him while he was at Makita's cookie shop. They jump out the car, guns blazing. They opened up fire immediately through the glass. And it was a few seconds and they were headed back to their car because young Dolph's brother ran out and fired back. And as you can see in the pictures, this is how it all went down. They jump back in a white Mercedes-Benz and they take off. Cornelius said they took off to one of Justin's cousin's house where they were able to clean up, change clothes. Cornelius found out that he had got hit in the shoulder. So they called one of their friends to come over, give a wound kit so they can take care of this injury of his. And from there, he said they didn't talk about what happened. They didn't talk at all. Cornelius's girlfriend came to pick him up and they went their separate ways. After they unalived young Dolph, things were moving so fast that Cornelius forgot his cell phone in the glove compartment of that white BMW that they abandoned. So he had to call his friend to say, please grab it for me. And he ended up grabbing it and he ended up getting it back. So as they were committing this crime, they started in a white BMW and ended up in a white Expedition. They parked that BMW at some abandoned house, took the Expedition and took off. That's when they took off to the cousin's house. Now, after the fact, Cornelius was in contact with Hernandez Govan, and he said that he was told that he needs to go wipe the car down and cover it up with a car cover. And he said he did that. But also, according to Cornelius, Big Jook of CMG put this hit out. And Big Jook is no longer living. His life was taken by gunfire. So why is Cornelius telling all of this? He's telling the story from the moment he was picked up to the moment things ended. And he basically said that he kept trying to contact Justin because he wanted to get paid. He didn't get any money until Justin finally gave him $500. Then he gave him $300. So he ended up with a total of $800. And why is he telling all of this? So he said in court, he's telling all of this because he received a kite, which is a letter from Justin stating some information. Basically, he said, this is when I knew I needed to confess and tell everything. But initially, on cross by the defense, they said, you're lying. You told a different story to the police. And he was like, yeah, I lied. Yeah, I lied. I wasn't aware of this and that. And they called him in a lie. But he said, now I'm telling the truth. So it was a bit interesting, that exchange between him and the defense. The defense also asked Cornelius if he ever got paid $50,000 by CMG. He denied it. He said, I never got money in my hand. Defense said, you got a lawyer that CMG supplied you with, and that lawyer got paid $50,000. He was like, well, I didn't get money in my hand, but he got a lawyer. So she said that he had a gunshot wound to his right jaw, which caused a fracture to his mandible, gums, and lower jaw. His torso had 8 entry wounds from a gunshot and 4 exit wounds. And with that, it entered into the body, hit the right lung, the liver, the thoracic aorta, the small intestine, several ribs, and some of his vertebrae in his back. And he also had a wound to his right wrist. In total, she said there were 20 entry wounds and 40 exit wounds. Unbelievable. This is terrible. And so the prosecution asked, could any of these have caused his death? Absolutely. So what is Justin charged with? He is charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and then also a convicted felon in possession of a firearm. So that's the gist of it on day 1. Day 2 is tomorrow, and they will resume court.